Good morning, Guam.
Good morning.
Thank you for starting your day the KUAM way here, starting lineup, our Monday show, morning meeting.
Yeah, lots of things going on. I know over the weekend it was a big turnout for the Mauricio Crab Festival. Ken, you covered that on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it was awesome. So the Mauricio Crab Festival, I believe it started Friday. It's a 3-day event. A bunch of activities going down there at the pier. And then on Sunday, it culminates with the crab catching. So at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, they have different heats. I guess it's got so popular over the years that they break it down into different categories, right? So they start with like the little kids, if you're like 8 years old to 12, then you go into this big like field, right? There's a little grassy area, and they dump 2 containers full of land crab into this area, and you have to grab as many as you can with a sack and your hand, right? And then after that, the kids line up and they show their bag to someone there, and they get $5. So you know, they gave out like something like
my grandparents, my uncle, they never gave me money when we would go crabbing.
And then and then like it gets way more hectic when the older divisions go through, right? So then they have the teens, and then they have like women 18 to 54, and then they have men 18 to 54, then they have 55 and up, and it got pretty wild. You should see the video on our Facebook page. You can see the archive. It's like a 1.5 hour stream.
Who didn't see it though? You racked up a lot of views over the weekend, Ken.
It was,
good job.
It was wild, and it was so fun, and it's fun to stream those types of events, and especially when we have a lot of engagement coming from those of you at home. And it was really it was cool. It was fun. Definitely an experience that I want to do every year. So
I commend you for making it.
No, I didn't get to eat any crab down there. I guess there's something with the vendors. They weren't allowed to serve crab, so they had a bunch of other food which I did eat. Right, and that was pretty good. But yeah, they weren't allowed to serve seafood there.
But you made it through the whole broadcast without making any jokes about catching crabs.
I was going to ask that. I was going to be careful how I asked this. Did you catch any crabs?
But it was definitely fun, and it's a lot of activities, a lot of different vendors, and kind of like a mini carnival. And then they have everyone jumping off the pier in the water, and people jet skiing, and it's surreal. Like if this is one of the things of Guam that's like really beautiful, and you can really only experience it down south, right? So,
Sunset too at Modesto Pier is probably the best.
Yeah,
one of the best spots.
Yeah, it was definitely really nice. So check that out on our Facebook.
All right, well, we have with us Marcus Evaristo. He's part of our UNO team. Just to kind of join us and tell us what they've got going on this week.
So this week we have a new episode of Guamies Abroad coming out. It's going to be a second episode with Antoinette. She's a traveler herself. She's actually an independent photographer, I think, which is pretty dope. So obviously she's been around.
That's straight dope, bro.
Straight dope. And we also have what is it, Uno Night Out, or
it's just a feature on GAX.
Yeah, we went to GAX pop-up shop down in Tumon. It was super dope. I keep saying dope.
You're the young guy.
Well, that's a good segue into what I'm going to be talking about.
But yeah, it's going to be featuring 30 local artists here in Guam. The actual event is April 6th coming up, so make sure you guys check that out. Head out there.
Dope, Nestor.
That's dope.
That's
All
dope.
right, thank you, Marcus, and check out Uno Magazine Guam. Make sure to follow them on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Instagram. Thanks, Marcus.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Segueing into the Guam legislature, session continues today, 10 a.m., and the marijuana bill, Clint Rigel's Guam Cannabis Industry Act of 2019 is going to be front and center today. Probably get a lot, or at least most of the discussion. When they adjourned on Friday, it was mentioned that there was about 20 amendments to the bill. So the legislature is a deliberative body in itself, so expect that there would be a lot of debate and discussion today.
It was kind of funny. So Friday, the vice speaker is basically like, too many amendments, let's take a break. It's like amendments coming from everywhere.
Yeah, they did a lot of confirmations. We have the Director of Revenue Tax was confirmed, the fire chief was confirmed, a bunch, I think there was about 11 or 12 different confirmations that were approved. But the two bills that we were expecting to get a lot of discussion were kind of set aside for now. and I presume they'll be discussed this week. The other one was Senator Jim Moylan's bill that gives the mayors the ability to come up with the rules and regs for games of chance or gambling at the casino. So those are the two bills that are going to be front and center at
That'd be crazy.
legislative session.
Real quickly on the weed bill, I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting, my emails have been blowing up with a message from Eugene Santos, and so he's actually having a town hall meeting at the Tamuning Community Center this Wednesday, March 27th at 6 p.m. So I think that's something else we're going to try and reach out to him and talk to him.
So his letter basically said that the legislature didn't do enough to put this matter before the public, but they met all their requirements. I mean, they had the public hearing. They had 2 public hearings. So we're seeing a lot of last minute, last second concerns coming out. You had GVB, the AG, both sounding off like after the comment period ended, and then you have this guy. And I mean, man, that legislature is pretty hot on Friday.
It's a very polarizing issue.
Right,
I mean, you're either very strongly for or you're strongly against. There doesn't seem to be much middle ground, so that will make for some very interesting debate, I'm sure. And
I thought it was.
I'm sure the public is going to be chiming in as well on social media. So,
like Senator St. Augustine was one of the co-sponsors, but he was one of the guys really raising a lot of issues Friday. So I thought that was interesting because Senator Rigel said, "Oh well, he's assuming that he has 6 votes because there's 6." Sponsors, and now I mean, is that still holding up, or?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a close call.
Look at the
he needs 8.
Report,
right. Yeah.
And also, wasn't legalizing adult recreational use of marijuana? Wasn't that on the platform for Leon Burrow Tenorio administration?
Right. Yeah.
She said she would sign a bill, but then I think there was a little bit of I don't know if you want to call it waffling, but.
Conceptually was the word she used.
So
which I felt was like
means,
a little asterisk there. I support it conceptually, and I'm talking to one of the governor's special assistants who I don't want to name because he said basically that the concern they have is, are we going to make enough money off it? And so while Lou did campaign hard on adult use cannabis and legalizing it, I don't necessarily think that the administration feels like that means they're just going to approve any measure that legalizes weed.
Well, welcome
Hey.
to the
Hi.
meeting.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Late Monday.
So what are you working on? By the way, I love your Life in Paradise segments.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm working on that. This week is all about nutrition. So that one was really interesting because you can't just work out and eat what you want, apparently, okay? Even though most of us have, I'm like super hungry. But no, you got to eat right. So that's what I'm working on. And a few other things. Chief medical examiner. We still don't have one. I think it's pretty alarming.
Pretty alarming.
We've had, just last week, there was the another
body.
death, another body that was found in Chico. And so, I mean,
how do they let this slide? I mean, it's like 4 months into the administration.
Well,
it's a problem.
we
saw it coming, though. I mean, everyone knew that Espinola was going to
There's a nationwide shortage in forensic pathologists, and the law is very, very strict that you must have this certification, and it's very hard to get. I think it takes a really long time to become a forensic pathologist. And
well,
have
kids out there,
experience.
it's a good career path.
I know, it really is. $200,000 minimum.
Minimum 80 years of schooling probably is what it takes.
It takes a while, and
we're hearing that there actually someone was flown in over the weekend, possibly. So that's something we're going to be following up on.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. People don't even realize what the chief medical examiner does on Guam.
What do they do?
Well, a lot, Chris Barnett. Well, I mean, if there's a suspicious death, they're the ones that check the autopsy to make sure, to figure out what happened. You can't, I don't know. I know they got this guy, but they don't really have an autopsy. Kind of makes it difficult to go through the trial and the justice system, so.
You know what? I really think it's going to come down to what we are willing to pay, what we can afford to pay, because that's what's really driving it right now. I mean, there's a shortage, as you say, of MEs across the country, so they have free reign over whether they have their choice rather of where they can work, and it comes down to quality of life also, but how much you going to pay me?
Yeah.
And we're willing to pay $500,000 for one position.
Right.
You know.
And that's one of those things that makes you think, like, we really definitely need more people here on Guam, more locals to go pursue these type of degrees so that we could fill those positions. I don't know, personally.
Maybe they should have
It's
like
just a side note.
an apprenticeship program.
Right, or something, right? Maybe there's a
Trade.
different avenue that we should have thought of
Well,
10
maybe
years
that's what
ago.
the Department of Labor and GCC might want to take a look at is
Right.
what are the positions that are hard to fill,
Right.
and start cultivating local students to, you know, steer them in that direction. you know,
Exactly.
so we don't come up with the, because even before Dr. Espinola retired, several months, maybe, you know, half a year or whatever it was, they were already searching.
Yeah.
And they still couldn't find.
And we've had
these
this
days.
problem before. I looked in the archives. It says that the last time when Dr. Espinola, before he was the chief medical examiner, we had the same problem. No one to fill the position.
Yeah, and that's already one of the highest paid positions within the government, and we still can't recruit because we can't pay them
Right.
what they would make. Say,
We can sure pay a
Same
lot of
time.
people a lot of money though, so I don't know what the problem is.
Aye, aye.
All right.
Yeah, the little things. Oh, Ken.
Yeah, love watching your live on kids crab catching.
Ooh.
Hey, good
Man,
job.
You know, I know we're.
It's
On
not
a
about
lighter
Ken.
note,
I
did you
know.
know that they raise and harvest those crabs for the entire year?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know. I thought they
Feed them like coconut and rice.
Except when I went there
That's
yesterday,
crazy.
I saw a guy with a bucket. I think he just caught those. So he caught like just 30 like that morning and then threw them in. Well, I
you-
went there too early because I went there before everything was open and it was like, no.
Did you
They
get to
didn't have
catch
my
any
crab
crabs
cake.
in Marisa or what?
I saw them.
You didn't catch any?
I took Instagrams.
Did it for the gram.
Did it for the gram, but they were pretty big. I saw one that was like this big.
Yeah, they were.
amazing.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick shout out to people watching from San Diego and Kentucky. Thanks for tuning into
Kentucky.
our morning meeting. Anybody else have anything to contribute?
Look
before
for,
we wrap
look
this
for an
up?
Emmy for us out there in San
Yeah.
Diego,
Yeah, right?
Kentucky. Could you?
How about the Philippines? I feel like there's probably a lot
Well,
of
you have to
them.
be, you know, U.S. licensed.
Certified in
Ah,
the
yeah.
U.S. Board
They
of
wouldn't
Medical
meet the-
Examiners.
They're already dead. Let's loosen our restrictions.
Aye.
All right. Well,
All right. Hey, on that
Joan
note.
has something.
Oh yes.
Oh, I do? Oh, okay. Well, the month of March, since it is Women's History Month, and also March 8th was International Women's Day, every Wednesday and Friday we've been featuring some of Guam's prominent women in the business industry and the tourism industry. Last week we featured Cheetah Blaze from the American Red Cross, and we also featured Bernie Valencia from Matson Navigation.
Hope Cristobal was another good one.
Hope Cristobal, and even Joyce Crisostomo from Cars Plus, and she's also the president for the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association. So, you know, we conclude the series this week, so make sure to tune in.
Hey, we got the after party tonight.
yes, our guests tonight are.
Juan Carlos Benitez, former Senator Chris Duenas, and former delegate Robert Underwood.
What are you going to be
That
talking
a
about?
Fun board.
Yeah.
So a lot to talk about.
Lots of topics.
Exciting.
We'll be talking about, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about the Ray Tenorio trial. Pretty sure we're going to be talking about the marijuana. Probably going to touch on Delegate St. Nicholas's town hall a little bit. And who knows, whatever else comes up.
You'll just have to tune in at 6:30 on KUAM TV 8 or right here live on Facebook. That's going to do it for us here for morning meeting. Thanks for watching. Bye.